Have you ever wondered why you almost never see Japanese people with blue eyes, even though blue eyes are celebrated around the world for their beauty and rarity? It's a fascinating question that blends science, history, and culture all in one. While we often think of blue eyes as simply a color, they're actually the result of a very specific genetic mutation that changed how light scatters in the iris, a mutation that began thousands of years ago, far away from Japan. But here's where it gets interesting. Japan's population has been genetically isolated for much of its history, shaped by unique migrations, climate, and environment. This isolation helped preserve traits like dark hair and brown eyes, features deeply tied to Japan's cultural identity and even traditional beauty ideals. So why didn't the blue-eye gene ever take root in Japan the way it did in Europe? And are there exceptions? People in Japan who actually do have blue or lighter eyes naturally? Today, we're diving deep into that mystery, the genetics, the history, and the meaning behind eye color in Japanese culture. By the end, you'll understand why blue eyes are so rare in Japan and what that says about evolution and diversity itself. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss fascinating videos that uncover the hidden science and culture behind how we see the world. Let's get started right away. Chapter 1. The science behind eye color. When you look into someone's eyes, what you're actually seeing isn't color in the traditional sense. It's light playing a clever trick. Eye color depends on melanin, the same pigment that colors your skin and hair. The more melanin you have, the darker your eyes appear. Brown eyes, for instance, are rich in melanin, which absorbs more light. Blue eyes, on the other hand, have very little melanin. Instead of absorbing light, they scatter it, reflecting shorter wavelengths which our eyes perceive as blue. So, blue eyes aren't really blue. They're an optical illusion created by how light bounces around inside the iris. Think of it like the sky, it looks blue, but it isn't. It's the scattering of light that gives both their striking color. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Scientists have traced the origin of blue eyes back to a single genetic mutation that occurred between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, somewhere around the Black Sea region. This tiny change happened in the HERC2 and OCA2 genes, which control melanin production in the iris. Before that, everyone in the world had brown eyes. That one mutation spread slowly through Europe as people migrated and mixed, but it never reached East Asia in significant numbers. In Japan, the genetic pool remained remarkably stable for thousands of years, shaped by migrations from ancient East Asia and the Pacific Islands. These populations carried genes for higher melanin levels, meaning darker eyes, darker hair, and often lighter skin tones adapted to the region's sunlight and environment. So the answer lies not in beauty or mystery, but in biology and geography. The blue-eye gene simply didn't travel far enough east to influence Japan's ancestral DNA. And even when modern travel and global mixing began, the original gene remained extremely rare among native Japanese populations. Yet the story doesn't end there. Eye color isn't just a matter of science, it's also a story of culture, perception, and meaning. Because in Japan, where deep brown eyes are the norm, that color carries its own symbolism, one tied to depth, calmness, and connection to nature. Coming up next, we'll uncover why Japan's genetics and history preserve this natural beauty and what blue eyes truly represent in a world full of diversity. Chapter 2. Why Japan's genetics favor dark eyes. To understand why dark eyes are so dominant in Japan, we need to look back thousands of years to a time when the Japanese islands were shaped by waves of ancient migrations. The earliest inhabitants, known as the Jomon people, lived in Japan more than 10,000 years ago. They had distinctive features and likely carried genetic traits common across East Asia, including dark eyes and hair. Centuries later, another group called the Yayoi people arrived from mainland Asia, bringing agriculture, new technologies, and, most importantly, a fresh genetic influence. When these two groups mixed, they created the foundation of the modern Japanese population, one that inherited high levels of melanin-producing genes. This meant darker eye and hair colors became the genetic default. Unlike in Europe, where the blue eye mutation spread widely due to small, isolated communities and random genetic drift, Japan's population stayed relatively stable and interconnected. There was no strong evolutionary pressure favoring lighter eyes, so the dark eye genes remained dominant. Melanin didn't just determine color, it offered protection. In a climate that could be bright and sunny, with reflective light from snow and sea, darker irises helped shield the eyes from UV damage. In this sense, Japan's dark eyes weren't just beautiful, they were practical, shaped by natural selection over millennia. Another key factor is genetic isolation. For most of its history, Japan was geographically and culturally separated from the rest of the world. Surrounded by the sea, it had limited genetic exchange with distant populations where lighter eye colors evolved. This isolation preserved its strong, consistent gene pool. Even today, over 98% of native Japanese people have brown or dark brown eyes. But what's truly fascinating is that these dark eyes became part of Japan's identity, reflected in its art, poetry, and ideals of beauty. In Japanese literature, deep brown eyes are often described as calm lakes or windows of sincerity. They symbolize humility, harmony, and connection, values deeply rooted in Japanese culture. So while science explains how Japan's genetics favor dark eyes, culture explains why they are cherished. Together, they paint a portrait of a people whose natural traits mirror their environment, history, and sense of beauty, a perfect balance between nature and identity. Chapter 3: Rare Cases and Exceptions. While brown eyes dominate Japan's population, rare cases of lighter or blue-tinted eyes do exist, and they often carry fascinating stories. Most of these exceptions arise from genetic variations, ancestry mixing, or unique medical conditions that affect pigmentation in the iris. One such condition is heterochromia, where a person has two different colored eyes or distinct color variations within one iris. Though uncommon, heterochromia can occur naturally due to genetic mutations or developmental factors in the womb. In Japan, such individuals stand out immediately, often becoming admired for their rare and striking appearance. Another rare cause is albinism, a genetic condition that reduces or eliminates melanin production entirely. People with albinism often have light-colored skin, hair, and sometimes blue or gray eyes, since the lack of pigment allows light to scatter through the iris. However, albinism remains extremely uncommon in Japan and is often accompanied by light sensitivity or vision issues. There are also mixed heritage Japanese individuals, especially in modern times, who may inherit lighter eye colors from non-Japanese parents or grandparents. With Japan becoming more globally connected, these traits occasionally appear in new generations, resulting in shades ranging from hazel to light brown or gray. Still, even among these cases, true blue eyes, the result of that ancient European Cherokee gene mutation, remain exceedingly rare. Interestingly, eye color can appear lighter due to lighting, environment, or even age. Children are sometimes born with grayish or lighter eyes that darken as melanin production increases during early childhood. Similarly, strong sunlight or reflective surroundings can make brown eyes appear golden or amber, creating a temporary illusion of a lighter shade. Modern fashion has also introduced another form of exception: colored contact lenses. In Japan, particularly among young adults and in pop culture, wearing blue or gray contacts has become a trend, especially in anime, cosplay, and fashion photography. These lenses allow people to experiment with eye colors that nature rarely provides, merging creativity with individuality. So while Japan's genetic history firmly favors brown eyes, nature and culture occasionally break the pattern. Each rare case, whether through mutation, ancestry, or art, reminds us how beautifully diverse human genetics can be, even in a country known for its remarkable uniformity. Chapter 4: Cultural Meanings of Eye Color in Japan. In Japan, eye color isn't just about appearance. It's deeply woven into the nation's sense of beauty, symbolism, and identity. For centuries, the Japanese have viewed dark eyes as reflections of the spirit, calm, sincere, and grounded. In traditional poetry and art, brown or black eyes are often described as mirrors of the soul, tranquil, warm, and honest. This association stems from the cultural value placed on harmony, modesty, and emotional depth, qualities believed to be visible in the eyes themselves. Unlike in the West, where blue eyes are often seen as rare and exotic, Japanese aesthetics celebrate subtlety and natural balance. The deep brown hues of the eyes are thought to blend seamlessly with dark hair and the soft tones of Japanese complexions, symbolizing unity between people and nature. This harmony is known as wabi-sabi, the beauty of simplicity and imperfection, and dark eyes embody that quiet elegance perfectly. In anime and modern art, however, eye color takes on new layers of meaning. Blue, green, or golden eyes are used symbolically rather than genetically to represent personality, emotion, or supernatural power. A character with blue eyes might symbolize innocence or mystery, while red eyes could represent strength or passion. These colors reflect creative expression, not biological reality. Yet they've subtly influenced how modern Japanese youth view beauty and individuality, especially through fashion and pop culture. Historically, though, dark eyes carried moral and emotional symbolism. In old Japanese literature, characters with deep, steady eyes were seen as trustworthy and wise, while those with light or shifting eyes might be portrayed as unpredictable or foreign. This perception mirrored Japan's long period of isolation, where familiar traits symbolize belonging and safety. Today, Japan embraces all forms of beauty, but the cultural reverence for dark eyes remains strong. They are seen as timeless, natural, and expressive eyes that reflect sincerity and depth rather than flash or contrast. In a society that values subtlety over spectacle, the dark eye continues to represent something universal, a connection between inner peace and outward grace. In Japan, your eyes don't need to be blue to be beautiful. They just need to tell a story that feels true. Chapter 5, The Beauty of Diversity. What eye color teaches us. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, eye color becomes more than just a genetic trait. It's a living map of human history. Every shade, from the deepest brown to the palest blue, tells a story about where our ancestors came from, how they adapted, and how our species evolved together. In Japan, where dark eyes are nearly universal, that story speaks of unity, endurance, and connection, a reminder of a people who thrived through centuries of balance with nature and culture. Yet in a modern world that's more connected than ever, diversity itself has become beautiful. Today, Japan is home to people of mixed heritage, travelers and immigrants whose features add new colors, literally and symbolically, to the nation's social fabric. A child with hazel or blue eyes in Japan might once have been seen as unusual. Now, such traits are often celebrated as part of the country's growing diversity and global identity. But the deeper beauty lies in perspective. For centuries, Japanese art and philosophy have taught that true beauty doesn't depend on rarity, it depends on harmony. Whether your eyes are dark as ink or light as the sky, what matters is the expression they hold: kindness, honesty, and depth. These are the qualities Japanese culture has always valued most. Scientifically, eye color differences remind us that we're all connected. The same genes that determine melanin levels in one part of the world exist in everyone, just expressed differently. That means the blue eyes of a Scandinavian and the brown eyes of a Japanese person both traces back to the same human story, one of migration, adaptation, and shared origin. So while Japanese people may not commonly have blue eyes, that fact doesn't set them apart, it connects them to everyone else. It shows how the Earth's many environments shaped us in unique ways, yet kept our roots intertwined. In the end, eye color isn't about contrast, but about continuity, proof that human beauty comes in many shades, all created by the same light. And perhaps that's what makes it so fascinating and so human. As we conclude beyond color, the eyes tell a deeper story. When you look into someone's eyes, you're not just seeing color, you're seeing history, emotion, and identity reflected back. In Japan, that reflection tells a quiet but powerful story. It's the story of a people whose genes, traditions, and environment shaped a look that is both ancient and deeply human. The dark, rich eyes of Japan aren't just a biological trait, they're a symbol of connection, continuity, and culture. Science explains that blue eyes were born from a single mutation thousands of years ago, spreading through small, isolated groups in Europe. Japan, however, followed a different path, one of stability, isolation, and balance. That isolation preserved its people's darker features, creating the characteristic beauty we recognize today. Dark eyes that mirror calmness and depth. But the meaning of eye color goes far beyond genetics. In Japan, beauty has always been tied to essence rather than rarity. Deep brown eyes are admired not because they are common, but because they hold warmth, a sense of sincerity, and emotional depth. They represent the Japanese philosophy of shibui understated beauty that grows richer the longer you look. In today's globalized world, these differences remind us of something important. Variety is not division, it's proof of our shared evolution. The world's many eye colors are pages of the same human story, written in different shades. Blue, green, gray, or brown, each carries a fragment of where we've been and who we are. So the question, why don't Japanese people have blue eyes, leads to something much deeper. It's not about what's missing, it's about what's meaningful. The real answer lies in the beauty of inheritance, the poetry of genetics, and the unity of human diversity. Because at the end of the day, no matter the color, our eyes are all doing the same thing, reflecting the light of the same world, the same humanity, and the same timeless story that connects us all. If you've enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of genetics, history, and culture, don't let it end here. There's so much more to discover about what makes us and every nation beautifully unique. Eye color is just one small window into a much bigger story of how humanity evolved, adapted, and connected across continents. So if you love learning about the deeper meanings behind everyday things, from Japanese traditions and ancestry to the hidden science of human traits, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Tap the notification bell so you never miss another story that blends culture, history, and science in a way that's simple, human, and eye-opening. And now we'd love to hear from you. What eye color runs in your family? Do you think beauty lies in rarity or in harmony? Share your thoughts in the comments. We always enjoy reading your perspectives. Thank you for watching, and remember, every pair of eyes tells a story. The color may differ, but the light within us is the same. Stay curious, stay kind, and join us again for the next exploration into the wonders of our world.